Welcome to Vinyl Dens on channel 33 RPM. This is the segment where we check out cool music rooms from across the vinyl community and around the world. Okay, man, I got a ton of super cool music rooms to show you in today's video. Make sure you check out all of these. This first one comes from Ryan. Ryan writes, "Hi Frank, I live in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, USA, and am an admitted thrift store fiend. I got into vinyl about 15 years ago and I started finding a ton of records and equipment cheap." Man, 15 years ago, that was kind of the tail end of the golden age of record collecting. There was so much cheap gear and records back then. Ryan continues, "I'm a Gen Xer and have fond memories of all things 80s, which my collection reflects. In addition to records, cassettes, and CDs, I also have a pretty sizable collection of vintage video games and consoles, as well as VHS tapes." Man, I love vintage gaming, and I love that you have all those consoles. That is awesome. I want to talk more about those VHS tapes, but I will come back to that. What else here? Ryan says his gear includes some MCS stuff. I'll list the rest of the gear on the screen. Ryan goes on to say, a lot of the old MCS stuff was made by Panasonic and sold by JCPenney here in the States. Okay, that's cool, man. I did not know that, but a lot of those store brands back in the 70s and even to the early 80s were actually really good. Ryan says, "I have a soft spot for it." He's talking about the MCS stuff. "And I want to add a turntable at some point to complete the system. It's really decent budget gear for those just getting started." He says his home theater equipment is a mishmash of Pioneer, Sony, Onkyo, Rotel, Infinity, and JBL. Keep on spinning. Ryan, this is awesome, man. As a fellow Gen Xer, I love those VHS tapes you have on display on the wall and the way you have laid all that out. I mean, to me, it looks like a movie rental store straight out of the 80s. I totally dig that. And the selection of stuff you have there as well, a mix of music and horror mostly, it looks like. I also love your big screen. I can see there that you are tuned into a very good channel, man. I appreciate that. I dig the arcade cabinet there in the corner, the bar, the stereo, as I said, the classic game consoles, all of this. Ryan, this is my kind of place. All right, 33ers, are you looking for a way to spruce up your vinyl den? Then you gotta check out these record storage cabinets from my friends at Sidetrack Workshop, the sponsor of today's video. These record storage cabinets are gorgeous. This is not flat packed bolt together furniture. This is the real deal. Talking high quality, sturdy, all wood construction, handcrafted in the USA by Sidetrack Workshop. These cabinets come to you fully assembled. You only need to screw on the feet, and shipping is free in the US. Dear 33ers, you spent a lot of time and money on your record collection. Showcase it proudly in style with these beautiful designs. Head over to sidetrackworkshop.com to learn more, and when you're ready to buy, use code channel 33 for a 10% discount. Now back to the Vinyl Dens. All right, this next one comes from Alberto. He says, "Hi, my name is Alberto. I grew up in Mexico City and now I live in San Antonio, Texas, USA. It's a pleasure to see your channel." Awesome, Alberto. Thank you very much. I appreciate you writing in. He says, "My children and I have a taste for music in physical formats and vinyl is our favorite." Check out Alberto's gear, man. He says he has a Macintosh MA8000 integrated amp. He has a Fluence RT81 turntable with an Audio-Technica VM95 cart. He's got a Macintosh MCD 600 for CDs. He's got a Macintosh MA6500 integrated amp that he uses with a Macintosh MCD 301. I mean, I am blown away. I am blown away by all of this Macintosh gear, man. This looks phenomenal and it must sound awesome. Alberto goes on to write, "My listening area is in my living room, which is acoustically treated to bring out the full potential and detail of the music, no matter what kind. The best thing about music is being able to enjoy it with my children on a Hot Wings Friday and listening to our favorite band, Long Live Vinyl and Long Live Channel 33 RPM." Alberto, man, thank you very much. I really dig the fact that, I mean, beyond the equipment, which is awesome, but I dig the fact that you share that passion with your kids, and that's sort of a bond that you share, particularly on Hot Wing Friday. So awesome, man. Thank you for sending these pictures over. Okay, this comes from Todd. Todd writes, "My name is Todd. I'm 52 years old and I live in Drumheller, Alberta, Canada. which he notes is the dinosaur capital of the world. He writes, I've enjoyed your videos for a couple years now and decided to submit my music room, which is my living room, and a spare room that holds my record collection and guitars and amps, etc. He says, I've been a music collector for most of my life, but my passion for vinyl kicked in high gear in 2022 after the passing of my daughter in 2021. Todd goes on to write, music has always been therapeutic for me, and vinyl collecting and music was there to help me through the darkest times of my life. Todd, I'm sorry, man, to hear about the loss of your daughter, and I'm glad to hear that the music was there to help you through those times. Todd writes, I have roughly around 1,700 LPs, 400 CDs, 100 cassettes, and a handful of 8-tracks. His main stereo setup includes a Technics SL6 direct drive automatic turntable and Energy 3.1E speakers. He writes, hope you enjoy my setup and keep on spinning and rocking in the free world, brother. Cheers. Awesome, Todd. Thank you very much for saying it over. I dig your space. Are you interested in submitting your music room for consideration in a future episode of Vinyl Dens? I would love to hear from you. Everything you need to know about submitting is in the description below this video. Check it out and shoot me an email.
Channel 33 RPM.
All right, check this one out. This one comes from George. He writes, hello, Frank. I wanted to share with you and other vinyl lovers my therapy room. Puts it in quotes, therapy room. I love that he considers his music room as therapy room because music is therapy. It really is. George writes, my wife supports me enough that she allowed me to take over the family room with my love for records. He says, I live in Lombard, Illinois, which is a suburb just outside Chicago. I'm 54 years old. I went from purchasing records as a teen and then switched to CDs, and now I'm back to vinyl exclusively. It's a common thing I hear, right? So many of us switched to compact discs in the 90s. That just was the thing to do. George says he has over 2,700 albums, according to Discogs. George says his equipment is decent and sounds good to his ears. It consists of a Fluence RT85 turntable with an Ortophone blue cartridge, a very popular turntable and an excellent cartridge, if you ask me. He says his speakers are from MTX Audio, which he purchased over 25 years ago, and they still sound amazing. George says, I enjoy watching all your videos, especially your Vinyl Den videos, which inspired me to send this in to you. Keep doing what you're doing and keep on spinning. Awesome, George. Thank you for saying this, and I'm glad you dig this segment, and I'm happy now that you are part of this segment. Cheers, man. This comes from Chris. Chris writes, hey, Frank, first, love the channel. You rock. Well, thank you, Chris. You rock as well. He says, my name is Chris, and I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, USA. This is my cellar dweller vinyl den. I said this before, basement dwellers of the world unite. My music room, my home theater, my bar is also here in my basement. Chris writes, I, like many, have made this into a multi-purpose room. He's talking about the basement, and he says that's a nice way to say a bar. It's so true, man. I'd much rather hang around in my basement with friends around my bar than actually go to a bar nowadays. Chris says, nothing better than a cold one and the sweet sound of vinyl records. Absolutely, man. He says, my collection is around 1,200, although I'm in the middle of a small purge. I think it's healthy to do a small purge once in a while. I do that myself. It keeps collections lean and mean, and gotta make sure you love everything you own, right? What else? Chris says his main turntable is a Riga P3 running through a Fosse tube preamp and a Sony STR DG820 with Marantz speakers and a Kenwood sub. He says, I also, like a lot of us, have multiple turntables throughout my house. He writes, I may have an issue, haha. Anyway, I will keep on spinning. This is awesome, man. I dig the bar, I dig the whole basement setup, and that is a super cool jukebox. Chris, thank you very much for sending this in. All right, this comes from Scott. This is a really nice setup. He says, my name is Scott, 63 years old, and I got back into audio about 17 years ago, initially by finding vintage gear, CDs, and LPs at thrift stores and estate sales. Man, it was so much easier. I tell people this, 15 years ago, 17 years ago, so much easier to find this stuff out in the wild. It's still there now, but it's so expensive. He says, I love watching all the videos of everyone's systems and music. I love seeing everyone's systems and music myself. Scott says, nice to see not everyone is listening to music on just a pair of earbuds. Perhaps these photos of my humble systems can make the cut and be shared with other viewers of your channel. Man, this is a nice setup. Scott's gear includes a Blue Sound Node 2 streamer, which I also have and I absolutely love. Lately, it seems like Wim is giving Blue Sound a run for its money, but I still love the Blue Sound. It also has a VPI Traveler turntable, which is very well reviewed, and I'll list his other gear here on the screen. This is cool, man. Scott, thank you. You have a very nice setup. All right, this is from Harper. He writes, "Hi, my name is Harper Darnell. I'm an artist, photographer, and writer from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, USA. Retired from 9 to 5. Thank God. I myself do look forward to retiring, but I got a while to go, 12 more years or so." Harper writes, "This is my vinyl den. It's actually my living room. My friends call my home the museum or art gallery. I have a simple listening device, Audio-Technica turntable, LP120 with a built-in preamp, and my speakers are a pair of Yamaha HS5s. Harper writes, "As I see, my main listening experience is jazz, but I love classical and soul, blues, and rock. Like my home, my musical taste is eclectic. I love your show. Keep up the fine work." Thank you very much, Harper, and I love the fact that so many people have eclectic taste, right? It doesn't necessarily make sense just to be stuck in one genre, and this is another example of someone who likes all sorts of music. Awesome. Okay, this comes from Blue. Blue writes, "I'm a lifelong music fan who's been through nearly every format. I started getting back into vinyl and music as a whole around 2018, 2019, and really kicked it into high gear during COVID. So many people did, man. We were at home. We didn't have a lot to do, so a lot of people turned to record collecting. Blue writes, "Channels like yours fueled my enthusiasm and taught me tons about the hobby." Very cool, man. I'm glad you found value in this channel and in my videos. He writes, "We live in a split-level home in central Alabama, and a couple of years ago, I was given the go-ahead by my family to turn the bottom level into a library/music room. I've attached some photos of the room, and I hope you'll like them enough to share on Vinyl Dens." I did, and here you go. Blue says, "I tell people that walking into this room is like getting a peek inside my brain. It's a jumble of stuff that brings me joy. Hope you enjoy this look inside." Thank you for the hours of entertainment, Frank. Blue, I certainly enjoyed this look at your chill out zone, man. This is awesome. Thank you for sending those images over. All right, 33ers, what did you think of the Vinyl Dens in today's video? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you watching. Have a great rest of the week. I'll see you soon. Until then, keep on spinning.